He nearly became a priest. Dennis Lillee said he wouldn't make it. But he went on to become one of cricket's most consistent match winners. Chaminda Vaas didn't talk much, but his numbers screamed greatness. There was a time when Vaas didn't see himself on a cricket field, but in a church. Yes, a priest. His childhood was steeped in faith. He even considered joining priesthood, 12 to 14 years of study, a life of service. But then, cricket happened. "I think God created me to be a cricketer," Vaas would later say. And thankfully, he answered that calling. At 16, he made his first-class debut for Colts Cricket Club. By 20, he was facing India in an ODI. His numbers weren't explosive, but the signs were clear: control, calm, and a natural rhythm. While others chased wickets, Vaas hunted pressure. In 1993, during a tour game against the West Indies, Vaas, raw and fearless, dismisses Desmond Haynes, one of the finest openers in cricket. After the game, Haynes walked over, handed Vaas his boots, and said, "Son, you have a long career ahead if you work hard." Encouragement from a legend. But weeks later, another legend, Dennis Lillee, was less optimistic. Vaas had been selected to train at the MRF Pace Academy in Chennai, and Lillee, the fast bowling great, wasn't impressed. He looked at Vaas's mixed bowling action and said bluntly, "You won't play for Sri Lanka with that action." Vaas didn't protest. He just smiled and filed it away, because that's who he was, not a talker, but a worker. In the following year, Vaas made his Test debut against Pakistan. It was a nightmare. Wicketless, scored 0 and 4. Sri Lanka lost by an innings. Many would have crumbled. But Vaas was different. He wasn't chasing immediate greatness. He was building, quietly, just like his action. Unassuming, repeatable, durable. Later that year, Sri Lanka toured Zimbabwe, a historic first. No overseas test wins for Sri Lanka yet. All 3 tests were high-scoring draws, but Vaas took 10 wickets across the 3 innings. In the ODI series, he was electric. 9 wickets at an average of 10.11. 3 4-wicket hauls in just 6 innings. The raw gem was being polished. In 1995, Sri Lanka toured New Zealand. Cold winds, green pitches, packed crowds, everything a subcontinental pacer dreads. In Napier, Vaas delivered his arrival note. 5 wickets in the first innings, a stubborn 33 with the bat. Another 5 wickets in the second innings, 10 wickets in a match. And history, Sri Lanka's first overseas test win. He and Murli shared all 10 wickets in that second innings. The birth of a partnership that would span 10 years, 895 wickets, and redefine Sri Lankan bowling forever. Just when things were taking off, the cruel twist, injury. A back issue sidelined him. But he returned, just in time for the 1995-96 Australian tour. While he couldn't dominate in tests, his ODI performances were sharp. Early breakthroughs, Yorkers on demand, and calm death-overs. Sri Lanka, still labeled underdogs, were assembling something special. Vaas was a key cog in the machine. Then came 1996. Everyone remembers Sanath's sixes, Aravinda's class, Kalu's fearless starts, but in the chaos, Vaas quietly played his role to perfection. Control with the ball, handy cameos with the bat. He wasn't the star, but he was the foundation. At just 22, Vaas became a World Cup winner, and more importantly, Sri Lanka's pace spearhead for the next decade. From 1996 to 2007, Vaas became one of the most dependable pacers in the subcontinent. He played 111 tests, still the only Sri Lankan fast bowler to cross 100 career tests milestone. 355 test wickets at an average under 30, 12 5-wicket hauls, 2 10-wicket hauls, and yet Murali often grabbed the headlines. Did that bother him? Never, because Vaas understood the team needed Murali to do the magic. His job was to hold the other end and strike when the moment came, and he did, consistently, silently, brilliantly. Vaas wasn't built like a typical pacer. He wasn't express pace, but he had one advantage many tearaway quicks didn't: his brain. Sunil Gavaskar once said, "Vaas never wastes a delivery. Even his slower balls are perfectly pitched." He learned by watching, asking, experimenting. He studied Wasim Akram, understood reverse swing, mastered seam movement, and he cared for his body like a monk. Injuries were rare. Discipline was routine. Even today, if you're up early in Colombo, you might spot him jogging in a main road. 400 wickets in ODIs. Only 3 others in history have done that. His 8 for 19 against Zimbabwe in 2001 remains the best ODI bowling figures ever. In the 2003 World Cup, he topped the charts, 23 wickets at 14.39. And in that tournament, he took a hat trick with the first 3 balls of a match. Nobody has done that before, or since. First ball, wicket. Last ball of the innings, wicket. Yes, Vaas did that too, against India, 1997. Sachin, Ganguly, Syed Anwar, Herschel Gibbs, Stephen Fleming. Vaas dismissed them more times than most bowlers ever managed. His outswinger was a trap, his slower ball a silent assassin. And at the death, ask Michael Bevan and Andrew Simons, 2 of the best finishers ever. In 2004, needing 8 off the last over, they faced Vaas. They didn't get it. He didn't always win. Chanderpaul once smashed him for 4 and 6 to win a game, but Vaas gave more than he took. Always. Over 3,000 test runs, a century, dozens of vital cameos, a partnership with Murali that brought 895 test wickets, 3rd highest for a pair, a 100-run 9th wicket stand to save a test at Lord's, a quiet presence in the dressing room, a fierce competitor on the field, and a man who believed in self-improvement more than self-promotion. Getting into the team is easy. Staying there is hard. When you look good, you feel confident. If you're bowling on a desert pitch, bend your back and adapt. Vaas spoke softly, but his wisdom still echoes in Sri Lankan cricket circles. He recalls Ranatunga's tough love, the tears, the lessons, the improvement. He remembers Lily's doubt and the satisfaction of proving him wrong. Because in the end, Vaas didn't just beat the odds, he rewrote them. It's been 16 years since Vaas last wore the Sri Lankan jersey. But what he gave us, it still matters. He wasn't a rock star, he didn't thrive on spotlight, but when Sri Lanka needed stability, Vaas was always ready with the new ball, or the old one. He's the gold standard of Sri Lankan pace. And in an era where injuries, inconsistency, and ego plague our bowlers, his humility and hunger feel even more priceless. He wasn't flashy, but he was special. He wasn't loud, but he left echoes. Chaminda Vaas, a legend, a servant of Sri Lankan cricket, and a name we should never, ever forget. Salute to a true Sri Lankan great, Chaminda Vaas.